Hi everyone and welcome to my second video of this little series where I combine a regular acrylic pour and sand. As you know, I have a fable for sand. If you've not seen my first video, please make sure to have a look at this one first, because in the beginning I explain a bit more what kind of colors and stuff I use, and this is actually the same color that I'm using here in this video. So have a look at this one first and then continue watching with this one. As an intro, you can see all the colors that I'm going to use for the entire series here in the beginning of this video as well. And then we can just jump into the next project. This video will show you the creation process of two more of my little pours, and they are both done on a 30 by 30 centimeter canvas. The first one, which I'm starting off here, is a two-sided one actually, so I do two swipes. And I want to be some kind of separation layer bandage in the middle of the canvas, which again will be made of sand, as in the first video that I did. And I want it to be a bit more stylish, perhaps, if you want to call it like that. So I wanted to have one side of my metallic blue, one side of my metallic gold, and in the middle a dark color as a separation layer. So I actually made my outlines for the separation layer that I'm going to have in the end, and covered my canvas with white paint, as this was supposed to be my underlayer where I'm going to swipe the colors over. So I added the white. I think there is silicone in the white because I put silicone everywhere, but yeah, I think there is silicone in it. But you don't actually need to have silicone in there, but you can. Yeah, I added my colors, so the turquoise metallic color on the one side, and once this was swiped, the gold color on the other side. For swiping this, I used not my palette knife, as I oftentimes do. And this time I used a sheet of Yupo paper. So, and just in case you do not know what Yupo paper is, first of all, this is really cool stuff. It is some kind of plastic-like paper which does not soak any water in, so you can put it into a bucket of water for an hour and nothing happens to it. And the good thing of this, if you put color onto it, you can wipe it off completely. Just use some water and wipe it off and it's clean, which is a cool thing, and I use it for my pendants most of the time. If you want to see my pendant making video, I do have one tutorial how to make my pendants as well on my channel. So back to this project here. Yupo paper. Yeah, I used it to swipe over it because you can just put it on the color and drag it over the canvas and basically apply no pressure at all. So it just moves smoothly over the paint and drags the color that you're going to swipe with along with it, which is awesome, because having a 30 centimeter canvas and using a palette knife, it needs some practice to hold it really still and to not wobble and to not move it to create any unwanted shapes in the swipe in the end. So this Yupo paper really is cool to work with. You can actually use whatever paper you want to use. You can also use some regular printer paper or your baking paper, whatever you actually want to swipe this. But good thing for the Yupo paper, you can just clean it and it's as if never anything happened to it. So cool stuff. I swiped both sides and then it was time to let it dry. While the first one was drying, I started over with the second project here in this video, and this time I wanted to have a somewhat sandy cross in the middle of it. So basically having this cross separated the canvas into 4 parts, and I wanted to have 4 tiny pours onto it. When I started out, I did not really know which colors to use to make it really colorful, so another color palette for each of the little squares. But in the end I decided to make it not that colorful and just use a bluish palette and a pinkish violet color palette to stand opposite to each other, which I hoped looked cool in the end. So I mixed my colors, made some tiny dirty flip cups and flipped the cup. I made the color spread around a bit, and as I have about 4 pours to do, I did not really want to move the colors that much, so I had to be quite a bit careful. When I had both parts of my violet color palette down, I really did not like the result, so I thought about it and decided to swipe it. And I hope to make it turn to the better, and I think it did. So the first result that I received with the flip cup did not really appear to me, so I swiped it and this time it looked better, so a bit more genuine compared to the blue ones, I guess. What do you think? And once I had all these colors on my canvas, I had to let this dry as well. And on the next day both were dried and I could continue working with the sand. And I started over with the gold and blue metallic one again. and I marked in the areas where I wanted my sand barrier to start and where I wanted it to end. And while I was doing this, I in a way redecided how I could even improve this one. And as you might have seen in the very beginning, I do have some of this cracking paint. I don't know what the English name actually is. We call it Facettenlack, which you might have your own name for. Basically, it's just a very thick kind of paint, so very creamy consistency, which you apply to whatever surface. And when it dries, it cracks, which you normally want to avoid when you apply color to something, but this one intentionally cracks, which has a cool effect. So I covered the very middle part of my sand bandage area with another piece of tape, so to protect this area where I want to apply the Facettenlack in the end. Once this was done, I mixed my sand again. I just used the sand that I have left over from my first project, from the first video I showed you, and applied it to the designated area. When everything was applied and the edges were covered, I removed the tape and I had the result that I wanted to have. As I had a feeling that it might be a bad idea to apply the Facettenlack right now, while the sand is still wet and might be movable, I decided to let this one dry a bit first and continue with the next one. And as you might imagine, I taped the areas that I want to protect from the sand. And before I started, I just measured out that all of these little canvases are in a way the same size. I added my tape to the canvas and cut out these areas that overlapped. So if you cut your canvas, please make sure to not cut into your canvas and that you only cut the tape. So just be careful to not cut your canvas. Again, I applied the sand with my palette knives. I used the black one again, as this is a cool contrast color, and once the sand was applied, I removed the tape again. Returning back to the first project, I used my hairdryer to dry the sand areas a bit faster, so I was able to apply my Facettenlack as I intended to. And therefore I just used a brush, scooped some of the paint onto it and moved it on the canvas. It was a bit tricky because I did not want to paint over the black stripes, but after some time I got a hang to it and could fill the area quite good with it. I also added some gold on top of it just to have some kind of variety into it, and I let it dry. It took about 4 or 5 hours until everything was dried and the paint started crackling. I did not film it, of course, as this would, it does not matter, but you will see in the end how the result turned out, and I think it's quite pretty. So what do you think? Do you like the effect as well? And basically that's it for this demonstration video. I hope you liked these two results. Please leave me a comment and let me know which one you like the most, or if you have any suggestions what I should try in the future, color palette, ideas, technique, whatever you want to know and see. If you're new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And if you are also into realism, I also have some realism paintings, drawings, tutorials on my channel. So something for everyone, I guess. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and until the next video, have a great day. Bye bye.